anyone know how much money they need to be ready for retirement? I don't. I'm gonna be honest, and I haven't really done enough research. I need to start thinking about this here. I know that I need to put money in my 401k. I know I need to find some passive income resources, right, to continue to have income coming in. But when it comes to retiring, I don't have a plan. Anybody got a plan? Anybody here got a plan?
I don't have a plan, but I know in my 401k, I have, if I could double my
Hold on a moment.
401k,
And you don't need to get into any specific dollar figures or
yeah,
anything.
yeah. But if I could double my 401k or triple it, I'd be kind of well off. I'd be kind of all right with that.
But do you know that for sure? Given that's my point. Like I haven't set out any. I guess I've taken a stab at what our bills are, and I think we've been working towards getting our home paid off. We have an idea what our we are getting an idea what our monthlies are, excuse me, what our monthly expenses are, and then just kind of look at those additional costs. But I'm thinking like you also got to take in consideration how how much longer you plan on living this type of lifestyle. How much longer you're going to live. How much do you want to continue to live this type of lifestyle that you've been leading? And I think a lot of us, especially Black folk, we depend on Social Security as one of those fallbacks. And you and I, Leon, were kind of having a conversation about Social Security. It popped in my mind. I'm looking at my Social Security. When I think over the years, I'd probably be getting a pretty good amount because they take like on an average like 10 years, I believe is what it is. And I'd be getting a pretty good amount, but um, still not enough to really live a retired life like I am right now. Like things would be cut for sure unless I have all these additional incomes. So my question is does anybody know what that figure is for them? Like what they need to retire?
Now,
And
me and my wife, we've had the conversation, but as far as dollar amount, we've had the conversation of projecting into that as far as paying off the house. Excuse me, paying off the house, moving our assets. Me working a little bit longer than she might, or if she chooses to retire first, and then me carrying, so-called benefits or whatever beyond that. So we've looked at that, but a lot of the precursor for us, and you mentioned it, fact checker, the precursor for us that's going to open up some options that we're going to continue to look at is once we pay off the house. We're looking at not only just our 401k. I just recently, because of my son and because Donald, gotten into looking at the stocks and stuff like that and investment. Um, so we're opening that. We're kind of opening up that angle as far as outside. We haven't put Social Security into the picture yet. We haven't told that. I've had conversations with my father-in-law about how your lifestyle changes, because once he retired from the police force, he still worked as security at one of the universities. So, I have that, ongoing conversation with him as far as monetary, what's coming in and what's going out, and every dollar having to be allocated. Your lifestyle changes, your spending changes, your benefits changes, your medical care changes. So every dollar that you spend for whatever has to be allocated. So I'm having those conversations. But to answer your question, as far as a set dollar amount of knowing what we need, it's kind of a work in progress, but we're having that conversation.
yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that too. And when I say a set dollar amount, I want to add. I think the piece I really want to focus on is the what is that minimum? At a minimum, I need to be here, right? Like, because you can always go as much money as possible, but what is that minimum um, amount that one would need to really retire comfortably? And that's going to be different for all of us based on our lifestyles. I'm just curious, has anyone put together a formula for what that looks like? And I say it from this. My brother-in-law, my wife's sister's husband, brother-in-law, um, they're retired, right? And he's been working out his plan for like he tested 3 years prior to him retiring. He had kind of tested out a plan to see, am I spending this amount of money, and am I going to be able to budget, accordingly and do things that we like to do, and he seemed to figure it out. I need to sit down. I was going to sit down and have another conversation with him, but he's also what kind of prompted me to over the last year or so to really start thinking about this here because we ain't getting no younger. So the more I think about it now, if I had the the focus back then to save on a consistent basis growing up, then sure I'd have probably more money. But now it's all about catch up. So I'm gonna pause again and say, anybody got any plans or anybody doing anything outstanding that they could lend
Well,
to us?
my plan. Okay, so I, well, there's a standing joke that I'm never going to retire because I have no desire to go to any place where it's warm. I have no desire to be on a beach and sipping mojito. That disgusts me. Okay, so now that we've established that I have no desire to go anywhere warm, so my calling, my true calling is this whole basketball thing. So I could get a job like that as a basketball coach at any high school in Philadelphia. I'm talking about like that. Okay, so that's just one more thing I can add, right? I'm in the process of I'm buying another building. It's 5 apartments. I'm buying another building. I got a residual income coming in. So my objective for this year, for me personally, was to become debt free, and I mean credit card debt free. And I've been talking about this since last summer. And I know we said you don't want to talk about numbers, but I just want to put it in perspective. Um, we were talking. I was like $58,000 in credit card debt,
Yeah.
and in less than this hasn't even been a year yet. It's down to 27. By the end of this year, that's going to be done. It's going to be by the end of this year, that's going to be paid off. So the only thing I'm going to be rocking with is my car notes, my car insurance, cable, and my phone bills.
Right.
Okay, that's it. So when I process that information, right? As long as my wife is younger than me, by the way, my wife is 47. So we're 53. She'll be 48 her birthday. I'm sorry, I just put it out there, but I don't care. She'll be 48. She'll be all right. And so she can retire. She get her 30 years, and in 2 years she can retire from the city. But I told her she can't retire because my medicine's too much. So my objective, my objective is to once I get all this financial stuff taken care of, is going to work. And I truly mean this, is I'm going to work on my health, because my objective is to get my diabetes to a point where the amount of medicine that I'm taking, if I can reduce that by 1/3, if I can reduce that by 1/3, then I think that's going to help reduce my monthly nut. So if you were saying, just to throw numbers out there, you think about what you pay now, and you basically want to say, if $3,000 a month, it makes you comfortable. If $5,000 a month makes you comfortable, right? Then you got it 5 times 12 is 60, right? You got to calculate your life expectancy. So if you need $60,000 to live, and you're going to live for another 10 years, you think after retirement, that's at least $600,000, right? So that's how you got to process that. Like, you got to figure out what you pay now, as far as, the house and all that being paid off. That's going to give you some residual. And I know what my Social Security is, because I get a statement every year, and it tells me, because I subscribe to this Social Security Administration. I can look in there, and I'm amazed at myself. It's like, I look at it like, wow, if I had to retire today or go out on some kind of disability, I would have enough to live off of, right? But not, I would have enough to live off of. But if the plan is to pay down the debt, then trust me, your paycheck's your paycheck.
Yeah.
I have never thought it was even possible to do what I've been doing and the way that I've accomplished it. So thanks to all the administrations for putting my student loans on pause. So
let me add to that, Donald. No, thank you for sharing that. You know, I'm definitely on board with what you're saying with respect to the route to get there, right? Like, debt is one of the first things, For me, a long time ago, I was like, I need to get rid of credit card debt. Like, I literally carry no credit card debt. Now, some say
that's great.
it's bad because of you're not having this wrong account, but like, my account stays at zero, right? I use it, I pay it
That's
off
great.
the month,
Right.
but
Right.
there are some other bills that we are starting to get, not anyways, family matters, right? So you end up with some bills, but I hear you getting that debt paid off. I think that the challenge for me, and I need to start doing this, is putting numbers to paper, right? I'm really good at doing
Yeah.
it, but when it
Yeah.
comes to the retirement thing, I just haven't. I need to sit down and say, okay, I know what my expenses are on a monthly basis. Like I know what they are, everything.
Of course.
So now
Of
I need
course.
to set it out and then make some estimate and some calculation. Then that gives me a number. Um, I'm curious because, and I was just curious, is everyone kind of in the same boat as where I'm at? Are we just expecting we're going to retire and things just happen? You know what I mean? I think a lot of people don't think about retirement in the way that we should think about retirement to prepare ourselves, especially when you're younger. And as you get older, it just kind of goes by the wayside. Like what Old Soul said, yeah, you know, we've talked about it and we've calculated and we're thinking we're going to do this and this, but no one really puts in this plan of really focusing so you can, when it's time to retire, whatever retirement means to you, right? But when it's time, you don't have to go to work for the man. You can just do what you want to do.
Right.
Have that plan available. So
yeah, one of our situations that has come up in conversation for us has constantly been dealing with, our situation out here with flooding, right? We've been through 2 major floods. Not only does that flooding situation we had in 99 and just recently had in 20, not only does that take a mental toll on you, it takes a financial toll on you. And so that is always a pressing issue because God forbid you don't want to have to go through that 3 times. And I mean, it comes to a point where you're like a soldier. You go through post-traumatic syndrome with it, like every time it rains or every time hurricane season comes around. So that's very prevalent in our decision making as far as when it's time for us to leave. So it's a constant reminder. It might not be I'm not sure with anybody on this podcast, and we can't stop the weather, right? We can't.
Right.
It's just the chips fall that way. But I know for us in 2021, it's something that we have an ongoing conversation about that we have to be very leery about because, God forbid, number 3 happens, we're going to have to make some major life decisions about that. So for us, going into retirement, it's nice to have the conversation and it's nice to have that nice, clean, because we want to go somewhere warm. I ain't going to front. I'm not doing no more snow, right? So it's nice to have that conversation about, honey, we're going to retire, we're going to do this, that, and the other. But when you add that extra element of possible damage to your home again, it plays a large role in our decision making, man.
So also, is your intent then are you saying sell your property and then eventually buy something else as part of retirement?
Our intent, again, man plans and God laughs, but our intent is to pay off the house, hopefully find some place warm that we're still talking about, whether it be Caribbean, whether it be Florida, pay off the house and look into maybe a condo or something in the gated community, and move on from there.
Yeah.
That's been our conversation. But like I said, it engages us when we have the conversation as far as paying off the house because we got a strange feeling of the money that we put into our home, and we put good money into our home, and we've gotten value out of it. Because it's been in the situation that it has, are we going to actually get the true value out of it? And are we going to be prepared financially to do that and have to make adjustments from there?
So
that is.
Go ahead, Donald.
I'm sorry. That's the most scariest part.
Yeah.
Because you know what you have in your property, but because it's considered a flooding area, are you going to be able to get the money that your full equity? Now, my only other comment, I appreciate you guys, wanting to go somewhere warm, but you could be leaving the frying pan to go into the
absolutely.
fire. So you have to make sure that whatever decision y'all make, because if you go to Florida, that's all y'all gonna be dealing with is hurricanes.
Listen,
from July to November.
We've researched Nevada, we've researched Arizona, we've researched parts of Florida that quote unquote do not flood,
like Jacksonville area.
Yeah, we've looked at, talked about Orlando, Kissimmee, that type of area. So we've been doing our due diligence. I don't want to do the Caribbean because you're right in smack dab in the middle of it. So it's an ongoing conversation, but we do know we have to keep it in prayer. And the fact of the matter is that we know that we do want to go someplace warm. Listen, we work hard, we want to play hard, we want to be able to enjoy life hard, right? So, this part of our lives, we want to be able to look forward to that next step of going someplace warm. And also we've also had the possibility, and the discussion has been finding someplace warm and finding an area maybe to relocate our or my in-laws, you know.
So
So
let
because
me
they're
ask you
getting
a question
older.
real quick. Have you given a lot of thought to that? And I asked from this perspective, right? Because I've been down that route. The home I'm in right now, this is it. We ain't going nowhere. Like we decided, I mean, initially we were thinking, let's go to Mexico and live in Mexico, right? Cost of living down there would be cheaper. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, how do I continue to earn? And how do I continue to make an impact in the world, right? Not thinking this is all pre-COVID, right? Interfacing. I'm not very fluent in Spanish. But I even thought about the retiring in Mexico, right? Getting a place down there, selling everything. Because at the time, properties were very, very, very reasonable. And some are still reasonable depending on where you go. But I ask you this question because when Donald said out of the frying pan into another, I was thinking out of the frying pan into another from a financial perspective, right? Like, can you literally sell your home and buy a place where you're going to get it? Because property values have done nothing but gone up in a multitude of places. Are you going to be able to really take that money and get a place that is probably nice enough for you, right? Nice enough neighborhood, and then still be able to have enough money to retire in that way. So that was just one thing I'm asking. Have you thought about that? Because I'm finding now more and more, I'm not leaving this place. Like, this is it. Unless they put me in a home, this is it. This is it. This is where we're going to retire. This is where we're going to put our money at. Forget the Mexico thing. Forget all those other things. We're going to put the money right here. We got a great space for people to come visit and just kind of like it's its own retreat for us. It's its own retreat in itself. So I was curious, have you given any thought to that though, that aspect? Because I know the movie.
Oh yeah, we've definitely given thought to that. We've given plenty of thought to that, man. Like I said, it's an ongoing conversation that we've had regarding the next step. Listen, when we first moved out here, where we are right now, that was our conversation. Like, look, this is our forever home, right? That was when we first got out here. Then when we endured what we endured the first time, it was like, oh wow. Then enduring it again, it's like you got to have the conversation. We need to find our forever home, and there's a large possibility that this is not going to be this is going to be an asset for us to get that, right? And that's the way we have to look at it. You don't want to look at it into a negative aspect, but you have to look into it as a realistic aspect for us right now, that we might have to use this as an asset in order to gain some kind of not only financial peace, but some kind of mental stability and peace for our next chapter in our lives.
Yeah.
But here's my observation, just from a perspective. If you have an idea of what your value of your home is, and you're not getting that number, then I would hire a realtor to rent my property out, and that creates residual income for you and your family. That's how, that would be the only way. I'm saying, God forbid, I'm not speaking anything to existence. I'm saying, God forbid, that you have a number, or what your house should be worth, and if you can't get to that number, the way around that is as renting it out and hiring someone.
Conversation, Donald, I
Okay.
appreciate that. We've had that conversation as far as renting out.
Cool.
We've had the conversation of possibly moving someplace else and still being able to utilize this if we had to come back, if something happened to where we were. I mean, we're open right now. By the grace of God, we're at the point right now where we can have that discussion. We're not pressed to have to move out tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're putting all chips in, and anything and everything is an option at this point. But it's a discussion that we've had even more since our last episode.
Well,
And
I
if the
know
city
my
do
I
their
know
due diligence, you should be all right. I'm sorry, Leon. Go ahead.
I know
that
my
wasn't me.
plan. I know my plan is
Oh, Doc.
like when mom, God forbid, when mom goes, then I plan on redoing her house and renting that house, and then this house here, I like the words you just used as far as the residual. I'll rent out both of these and just go ahead, maybe a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom apartment, and be in there and just rock out like that for the rest of my life when that time comes.
Your
Just to
mom's
have
crib
that.
paid off, Doc?
Yeah, all that stuff is done and paid off. So I mean, you know, God forbid if she goes today or tomorrow, I know that I can go ahead and gut that and rent it out, and I have that extra money coming in easy. So I know that that's my plan when the time comes for that for me when both of these houses.
That's actually interesting, right? Because that's a great dude. That's a great side income, right? So it's interesting. Well, I say that's a great side income, but actually, given COVID and then people not paying rent for who knows how long,
Yeah.
the impact to the landlords and everything, it's crazy. But um, yeah, interesting. So that's your plan. I no, that's a great plan, man. You know, have you sat down and put ideas together? What how much money you think you need to live your life? Your
I
lifestyle?
mean, it's just right now it's just me, so I'm not. It's not that large. It's not that big. So I didn't even think about my Social Security money. So my Social Security money will be a plus on top of the money that I'll probably already be getting.
Yeah, I say.
So
Let me say this, and Leon, I'm curious to hear about you. My mom worked hard, bro, all her life, bro. Did she get this little retirement check, man? That barely did jack, doo doo.
right,
I mean, that's because she didn't earn a lot either. But I think a lot of people are going to be dependent on that Social Security check. And Donald, for you, your family's super fortunate when you work for the government, right? Being able to get the pensions and everything. Not a lot of that is occurring here in California because everything's 401k. Maybe even with your organization, Donald.
Oh no, I'm a 401k guy. My
No, no,
wife
yeah.
is the only one with
Oh,
the
okay, yeah,
city
yeah, yeah.
with
I
the
was thinking
city
about the kid
retirement.
working for the city.
Oh, both my kids work for the city.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
all three of them
Which is a
actually.
beautiful
All
thing,
three
right?
of them.
And I think we could all attest that. Well, I can surely say when I was growing up, like getting a job at the city was a thing that a lot of people wanted to do because of the pennies
the
and
retirement,
receipts,
benefits
right?
yeah, the
and the
retirement part.
retirement.
Benefits and
But then you had to back then you had to be Irish or Italian.
yeah, exactly. So,
We done flipped the script, yo.
Did we ever? Oh
so
my God.
I'm curious to
No-
hear about you, Crooner, man. Like, have you guys
You know what?
you
I'm in a very very comfortable position that it's weird, man. Cause I listen to you guys and I'm kind of like, wow, man. Cause the military retirement is good. Let me tell you, it's really, really good. And me and Kevin is sitting pretty good. I put it this way: I've been retired militarily since '95. I make well over 20 grand a year for retirement, and I've been doing it for 26 years now. You do the math.
I got you.
That's just military retirement.
Just
I
retirement.
already did the math. Damn. Okay.
And I'm good. That's not counting Social Security.
And
But put it this way: somebody that sings and they really like you, they could make a lot of money. Just on singing alone.
yeah,
We
I
call
remember.
that love.
I
love
remember.
offering.
I remember. Yeah, I remember some people. I've done, and I mean, I know people have done gigs for $5 grand, just one gig.
wow.
Wow.
Some really
I
good
know people that do gigs for 500,
yeah.
but he pays his buddy $50. So that's
hey,
I will.
really
I will.
25 because it's two buddies, okay?
I will never say hustle again.
No, man,
yeah.
I just think it's interesting, right? I mean, we're all of age. We're over our 50s, and just
Speak for
imagine.
yourself.
Yeah, right. Imagine how many people are not. Listen, it took me to get to this long to really start to really focus on this, but I think focusing should happen a lot earlier because if you do it, it won't be as hard, right? And
Right.
it's difficult if you just put small amounts away on a regular basis. But I was curious if y'all had did that, if y'all thought like my home is my every time. This is my home. This is it. I don't plan on going nowhere unless the house burned down or unless I'm kicked out. Um, but I'm here. Shit, I'm doing a kicking out of anything. I'm kicking out. Get out. God damn it. I'm doing the kicking out. Hey, by the way,
Vaz, you ought to get with a financial planner because you're going the right way, the right road. Just talk to somebody and see if they can help you out some. Cause
I should, dude. I gotta get my pride.
Just don't pay them.
aside.
Just don't. You want to get like a pro bono. Listen, what we want to do is we want to listen, gather the information, and then create the plan.
Yeah.
Listen, and my thing was growing up, right? I had an old Italian dude. His name was Joe DeFranco. He was my mentor. He pulled me to the side and he told me he told me how to move, right? He said, and us as young Black people, we never really had no type of mentorship when it talks about financial future.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think about financial future. Most of the folks in our family were worrying about the next meal.
Day-to-day.
We weren't thinking about, when we were 8, listen, I've been working in this industry for 36 years, bro. I started in 1985. This is my 36th year in this industry. And had I taken a pay cut to go to the government, we would already be talking about, hey, I'm retired from the government with my 30-year pension, retired as a GS-12 or a GS-13, right?
That's
That'd
the
have been
bank.
bringing in like $4,000 a month.
That's
just
bank.
on retirement. And then I would be out there coaching on whatever level, right? Making another 30 or 40 just from that on top. So the reason why I have real estate is because he said real estate is the way to go. It's not about one property. It's not even about 2 properties. It's about multiple properties. I have multiple properties. If anything happens to me, my kids inherit the ownership of those properties, right? So now I'm thinking outside of the box, right? Not just the house that I got, basically. My house, I tripled the value where I live. My house tripled from what I paid for it. So no matter what happens, I have equity in the house, no matter what happens, right? So the rule is, if anything happens to me, put me in a box, light that match, get it real, real hot, turn these ashes. Don't give my cousin, don't give him no money. Put me in a box. Y'all just come to the memorial.
Hey, don't give my cousins money. Put me in a box, huh? Burn it.
And I got a question. When they put you in a box, do you have to be dead? I just want to know, because I want to be the one with the match.
Yeah, that is questionable. Because where would the comedy go? I gotta stand in the gap until Kev, you know what I mean? That's what I do. But no, but real stuff, man. That's a good one.
Man, that's good. That's good advice, man. Because when I first got into the entertainment business,
me,
I've had a.
Or good advice from who? Who was that good advice from? Donald or me?
Yeah, Donald. As far as
you said my name. Did I just say something?
Try to get it pro bono. Like, you got somebody good to talk. Your brother-in-law, he's a good person to talk to. The one you said that did the 3 years, he's a really good one to talk to, and they're gonna cost you a dime, so have a conversation with him.
One of my first, and I reference my father a lot through this podcast. If you look at other podcasts, I'm gonna reference him again. One of the things he told me to, when I was young and I got my first job, I came back to this house. I was excited. I said, "Dad, I got a job. I got a suit. I got a tie." He said, "That's nice. That's nice. The tie's nice. The suit's nice." He said, "But you're going to somebody else's job. You're going to that white man's job." That's the way he put it. He says, "If you don't ever listen to anything I ever say, listen to this. Have your own. Create your own job, your own business. At the end of the day, you're working for somebody else. Let somebody work for you."
Hey, listen, that is so
advice.
Freaking true, bro. And the older I get, the more I'm like, I am not trying to work for somebody. You know what I mean? People got listen. I mean,
life steps in, bro. Life steps in.
Listen, all I'm saying is, I'm not opposed 200% of working for someone. You just got to make sure you love what you do.
I agree with that. 100%.
Right?
Because I definitely miss my FedEx job. I definitely missed that job. It always kept me moving and running and moving, and it had me under pressure. Just kept it on being busy. Yeah. So I really missed that job.
So nobody has anybody laid out a plan, or does anybody know what that number is for them?
Nope, I haven't laid out.
I mean, like I said, I know what the number is.
You know what your number is, Donald?
Oh, I know what the number is. The question is, will I be able to achieve the number? Am I going to work myself to death to get to the number so that when I'm there, I can't can't even enjoy it because I worked
But
myself
but
to
to
death.
enjoy it,
But
yeah.
you know what's beautiful? You know what's beautiful though is that you have a number.
Oh
Like
no, I
a
have
lot
the
of us don't.
number.
A lot of us don't because we've just never sat down and put that together. And it's you have to have a starting point to start, right?
Yeah,
Like
but my problem is that numbers is what I do, right? Like it's no, I have spreadsheets and it's numbers is just I don't know. And I'm not a rain man per se because I really
no, I
hate
hear you.
math, but like being able to project, know what I need to do. That's how I came up with this plan. I didn't listen to no one as far as paying down my debt. This plan is a plan, and how I'm moving money around and how we talked about this during that segment with the credit card stuff and how I move money around, right? And I know when certain things are due so that when the credit report is being reported, is reporting as zero. It's just by God's grace that He gave me this ability. So
So, but let me say this though, Donald.
mhm.
The beauty is that you are putting a number down. I think a lot of us are fearful of putting that number down. I mean, we don't do it, and it could be out of potentially fear of kind of saying, can we even get there or not? Right. But irrespective, it's like losing weight, right? You don't want to get on the scale because you don't want to know how much you weigh. Right. You know
Right.
you need to lose weight, but you don't want to get on the goddamn scale because
But
like, dang,
keep in mind those property taxes on your property, you still got to pay them every year.
exactly.
That you
And
keep
that
that
goes
in
to your
mind.
monthly. If y'all
Yeah,
ain't
yeah.
no,
If that's in your
it's all
escrow
calculated
and
for
you
me.
haven't had to see, if it's in your escrow and you ain't had to see it, and your homeowner's insurance is in your escrow and you ain't got to write a separate check. So I have one mortgage where I write separate checks on one of my properties.
I do.
It's not rolled in.
I write mine separately. Speaking of that,
Yeah, and that way I can control I can control because sometimes they do the escrow analysis and they come back and they say, well, if you pay this, it'll change your payment by. I don't do all that, man. I ain't got time for all that. I just pay. What's the insurance? Pay it off for the 1 year. It's done. What's the boom? Send
Yeah.
the stupid city a check and that's done.
Yeah.
But
So
that's the kind of stuff that you got to think about.
so how do you find out your how would you what you're going to cost to live off of? How would you be able to find that out?
All right, I can.
Go ahead. Go ahead and answer this question. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I understand what you're
So
saying.
I'm assuming I know what he's talking about. So the first thing you would do is go to the Social Security Administration and you would you would log into your account and they would give you your yearly tax statement and they would give you a projection based on your age. They will tell you if your income stays this level set and we're 53, retirement age is what, 64, right?
No,
64,
67 now.
67. Is
Yeah.
it 67?
Yeah.
Is this, I think
Are you
it's
sure?
I think it's
I'm
65.
positive.
I think it's
Oh,
Let's
so
just let's go with 65 for now. So
right.
it gives you, so you have it. So you're 53. That gives you a 12-year plan, right? And they'll tell you what your number is going to be. Now, you take very simple, take your monthly, what you pay monthly for all your bills, times that by 12.
Mhm.
Then you have your yearly number, and then times that by 13, right? And if that number is the same, that's the number. So think about that. Do you plan on living 13 years past retirement, 20 years past retirement? And then it's just a matter of projecting that number, especially if you don't see no number decreasing.
Right.
I can do the math for you and no problem. And I can do that for you. I can actually I can do that for you.
Okay, all right, okay.
what,
But can I go over to Two Penn Center and ask the Social Security people all that information you just told me?
You want to do it online. You got to go to the Social Security Administration.com. And
Okay.
you do it online and you enroll and they'll start sending you yearly. I get yearly statements and
Okay.
it's saying your base and it gives you the chronological. My first job was in 1985. It gives you all of your yearly income from 1985 to 2020, what was
Wow.
reported. And then
Wow.
and they'll do a projection based on that, and they'll tell you what you're going to be bringing in from Social Security. Now, like I said, the other thing I can do for you, because I am your tax guy, so you telling me what your monthly nut is, I can tell you and give you a 20-year window. I can give you a 20-year plan. I can tell you
Okay.
what you need if you plan on retiring if it's 67. I'm gonna tell you what the number you will need if you plan on living beyond to 87.
Okay.
Right, and
All right.
it's going to be a number this base, it's going to be an unrealistic number because in retirement, everything goes down. You're not
Right.
spending the same amount of gas. Your phone bill actually gets cheaper. At 55, you go to T-Mobile, they give you a senior citizen plan. So the money, the eating out that you do because you're in the street all the time, you're right. You're going to minimize. I mean, man, I already know it. Listen,
but do you think? Does everybody minimize? I think
no. Yeah, we're not golfers. The only people that I know Edwin and his beautiful queen, they want to travel, right? That's their I know when he thinks about retirement, regardless if they're living in a warm climate, I can see them going like every 3 months somewhere.
Gotta have a budget for that, right? Gotta have a budget for that.
They gotta have a budget for travel. I can see them doing that every 3 months, like boom, right? I'm not that dude. I don't play expensive games. I'm not a golf. I play pool. Okay, it's $6. I get the senior rate is $6.50. If I let my grade come in, he's like, "You a senior?" Nah, Nick. So what I'm saying is, I don't have that overhead where other people will have a high overhead, and and I lease my cars, so I turn that crap in, right? And then at retirement, I got 5 cars sitting in my driveway right now, yo. So having a car ain't no thing, right? But
so interesting. It says 67 is the full retirement age. 67.
Yeah, Doc was right. Yeah.
For us.
Yeah,
For
and
us.
yeah,
1960 and later is 67. I'm looking at it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you take early retirement, it's
right. They give you, it's a percentage, right? You get one quarter, 30%. One half. There you go. That's nothing.
Ooh,
yeah.
Lord,
yeah. 67. Can you imagine? Like, I don't have no plans. I have no plans on retiring, right? I love my job. But what I do, it's no guarantee that I can't really speak too much about it, but it can be over like that.
So
snap of a finger.
No, that's what I want to know, because I don't think enough of us do it. I don't think enough of us sit down. And I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm just going to chat with him in detail. I'm going to get really into it. I'm going to ask him everything he's done.
I just want to say, right, the person that's quiet, the quietest on this podcast, he got a little cheesy grin. That brother said, I don't know for certain, but he got a little cheese. He ain't like, listen, I ain't worrying about a damn thing, yo. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm Gucci. Okay.
Hey,
if they say let's retire tomorrow, it's on and cracking. Bye, nigga. Chitty chitty bang bang.
Hey, wait. Did you hit the lottery? Did you hit the lottery and not tell us? And shit.
No.
You got stacks put aside or something?
No, bro. I mean, listen, man. It comes down to this.
Let me call my wife so she can play it right now.
Listen, it comes down to this, right? I'm not going to front. I mean, my wife deals with majority of the finances more than I do, and we sit down and go over things. Our numbers are good by the grace of God. Our numbers are good right now. Projecting, we always, since we've been together, we've made a pact to always try to project 5 years. That's just been our rolling number, right? So we've always tried
partnership.
We've always tried to, even when we bought this house, we tried to project 5 years, right? And we always try to project what if, the possibility of I'm not around, she's not around. So we always look at it from a financial aspect of one person. So as long as you look at that, and again, I hate to reference it, but you can't not reference faith, right? I've come to the conclusion that things are going to happen. But I just have to put my faith in God and the numbers that He will lead us in the right direction, man. And I've just, the woman I'm with right now has given me that kind of, that balance. I'm not saying that we are, we're balling like the Kardashians, but I am going to follow up on what Brother Donald said. He got it right. I mean, we like traveling. We do want to continue to travel. My job, as far as I know, my job is to make to make that woman that has completed me, make her happy. And as long as I can continue to do that and have the faith that I have, I gotta let it go where it is. You can worry but so much, because we've literally been through the storm. We've literally been through the storm. So now from this portion of it, we got to look at the upside, man. We got to look at the upside. So that's why I'm kind of falling back. Like, I'm prayerfully thankful. I'm concerned, but I'm okay. But it's a conversation. Like you said, I'm glad we're having this conversation. But it's something that I'm like Brother Donald said, I'm kind of Gucci with right now.
Well, listen, fellas, look, I appreciate y'all having a conversation, man. I need to go ahead and I'm gonna set a date. It is March 29th. By April 12th, I'm gonna put this on my damn calendar. By April 12th, I'm gonna know exactly what it is I think I need to retire. Like I need to.
Then we can revisit.
Yeah, then we can revisit.
Absolutely.
I need to know this information personally, just so I can feel comfortable. And I would recommend those watching, if you don't know what your number is, figure out what your number is. Try to get an idea of what that is, or at least put it on your radar to start thinking about it. Because believe it or not, time flies quickly.
Yes, it does.
Know it?
And that's a goal that I'm gonna achieve that goal too, just to find out what number I'm gonna need to retire on. I mean, it's just me, so I'm kind of cool. So I don't have any overhead at all neither. So, and I don't plan on making no baby, so we good. So it's just gonna be me, and I'm on the same thing with the old soul. I'm gonna be doing some traveling too, kid. So I'm not just gonna be sitting around just waiting to die, but I'm gonna have a good time with life, enjoy life, and stop smirking. I don't like the way you smirking.
because your entire life has been about having a good time, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if I was single, I would be in the same predicament. I'll be right where you at right now. Like,
Yeah.
and the difference between Edwin and his lady, right? They build something together. I can't speak to Eric. I'm sure they're in the same boat, right? But we've been two ends of the spectrum. I handle all the finances. I take all the risk. She does what she does, and that's been a challenge. But if anything happens to me, I know that they're straight. I know that she's straight. I know the kid's straight. My daughter can pay off her student loan if I pass. She got enough to take care of that and go out there and live her life. The one thing that I pass on to these kids, and I'm telling them, is to be smart with your money. Be smart with your money. Don't live outside your means. And one income better be able to take care of your monthly nut, no matter who you living with. If you can't take care, my daughter just moved to New York. Kiaja, it's one of my kids. I call her my daughter. Her name's Kiaja. She just moved to New York. Her and her fiance, boyfriend, whatever, they just bought a house out there. And she gave up her apartment to move in with him. And that's my biggest fear. Because I will drive to New York and whoop his ass if things go south. So I'm putting that out there on the podcast, Queen, in case you listening. If you've been in here, I done showed you all my guns.
Why violence?
Because that's the only
That's
way these young
necessary violence.
whippersnappers respond.
That's necessary violence.
I'll close with this.
We can always do the math. Don't worry, go ahead.
My son said this to me about a few years back, and it was when I had some concerns as far as finances and everything. And he said to me in the living room with me and my wife, he said, "Dad, if something was to happen to you tomorrow, you would put me and Mom in a position where we can be able to take care of ourselves based on what you've done. So that's something that you don't ever have to worry about. You have put us in a position and you have taken care of us to where we're going to be all right." And that right there, I think as a father, as a parent, that is always a concern. Your concern is not about how you're going to make out, but the ones that you quote unquote leave behind.
Yeah,
and when he said that to me, it kind of, it meant a lot. I'm gonna tell you that first of all.
But that sounds like a tearjerker to me.
I was gonna say, did you cry?
Yeah, tearjerker.
I did it. I did.
Doc, we were athletes in our.
You know why? Because that's well done by you, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's a damn good job.
What we pour in, I like it when it's revealed. All this pouring, when you pour into someone and it's the same thing when the Lord, he poured into you, right? So, and when y'all talk about how cold I am, right? The Lord made me this way. So I'm not going to stop being who I am because it could be offensive.
That's cold.
No.
That's cold.
Junior is Junior.
Listen, we can talk about finances. We can talk about all of that, and I always reference faith. We can talk about, you know, what we have and what we're trying to get, but we're all in a position of where God wants us to be at, and that's where we're going to continue to be at. So,
for sure.
My brothers, my brothers, my brothers, my brothers, my brothers. Video podcast.